What was he like though on the discipline side?
Very straight to the point, but very fair. I found, I'll go back to obviously the Scotland scenario.
Yeah.
When I come into the office, and I remember him saying to me that I've not just let him down, the staff down, my teammates down, the supporters down all over the world, but most importantly, my family. And when he said that, it hit me. And he was just being honest. And I was obviously suspended for the couple of weeks, and I had to go away and have a long, hard look in the mirror. And it was the best. I'm saying it's the best. The 30 seconds that he spoke to me stuck in my mind. And I went away, and obviously I was away for the 2 weeks, and I come back, and there was no grudges held. There was nothing against me. He just let me come back in and obviously train and try and make myself be available for the first team. And thankfully, I thinking about it when I was on that suspension, I didn't think I would have a chance again to play with Rangers.
Did you
I
think
thought
that was it?
Yep. And I knew that. Walter knew that. Rangers knew that. My family knew that. But I'm grateful for him to give me the chance to come back in and at least play my part towards the end of the season, lift the title up at Tannadice, and obviously the Scottish Cup, where, as I said, I didn't think that was going to be able to happen. And then after it, obviously you go back to Ibrox and celebrate as you do with the cup. And he just come over to me and shook my hand and wished me all the best, and that was it. And that was the kind of man he was. So that's my memories of Walter.
No, I mean, again, I go back to his decency, and there was one occasion where he really surprised me. I had been doing a reporter shift for Sky Sports, so I'd be regularly interviewing Walter and Tommy Burns after the Old Firm games. I then got the job as co-commentator. So before the first Old Firm game I was going to do, I thought I'll phone the managers and see if, well, certainly I'll phone Tommy Burns and see if Tommy will give me his team on the morning of the match.
And of course, Tommy, your old teammate,
great pal, and I thought he'll give me a heads up on his team. So I phoned Tommy, he gave me his team. I thought, should I bother phoning Walter, because Walter knows I'm Tommy's pal, I'm an ex-Celtic player. I thought, to hell. So I phoned him, phone rang out. I thought, he won't get back. 10 minutes later, phone goes, Davey, Walter Smith, what can I do for you? I said, I was just wondering, Walter, if this is my first Old Firm game as a co-com, wondering if you might give me a heads up on your team. He said, have you got Tommy's team, Tommy Burns' team? I said, yeah, I've got Tommy's team. He said, right, here's my team. You got a pen and paper? Here's my team. And he gave me his team, gave me how they were going to play, and he trusted me. And I just took that as a huge compliment from a pretty remarkable man.
And he could handle anybody, couldn't he? I mean, you talk about Paul Gascoigne, and you think, well, that there's a management job for you. But Walter could cope with just about anyone and anything.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it would have been easy to manage Gaza. Do you know what I mean? But I think obviously they had a few sleepless nights. But we've all heard the stories. I mean, even that team, that 9-0 team, you had, obviously Craig knows better than me, but so many big personalities there. But somebody like Walter, I'm pretty sure every one of them would be scared to get on the wrong side of Walter, because he could handle the personalities in that dressing room, I imagine.
Do you remember any fallouts, Craig?
I remember, again, I was a young lad, and I think we might have been away to Falkirk or something, and I think Coistie's come out with it a few times. I'm hoping it's the right game. He had a big argument with Archie Knox. I think Coistie was a sub, and he's come on late, and he was annoyed because the way that the game had went, or he didn't get the time, or whatever. And him and Archie are arguing in the dressing room after the match and all that. And Archie's like, "You'll be in tomorrow." Bleep, 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 bleep. You'll be in tomorrow, kind of thing. And Coistie's like, "No chance. I won't be in." Anyway, 5 minutes later, Walter Smith just pops his head round the corner. John just says, "McCoist, I'll see you tomorrow morning." And Coist's like, "All right, Gaff, I'll see you tomorrow morning." So that was. That's the respect that Walter had.
Great, from a media point of view, Paul, he's great to work with. And any time young managers or coaches will maybe ask me for a bit of advice on how to handle different things, and I always think there are a couple of very quick examples I give them about Walter Smith. And we're going back to about 1994, 95. And you used to go along to Ibrox, it was back then, for the Friday pressers, and you would have the daily newspapers in the Sunday. And that's the day when papers were selling 1 million copies. And there was no in-house media, there was no online, no emails, nothing like that. Every bit of news was through the newspapers. No Sky 24 hours at that point. So anyway, it was a great lesson for me, and it was brilliant. So Walter would have the dailies in, and they were playing Aberdeen the next day, I'll never forget it. And he says, guys, just let you know, Davy Robertson injured, out for tomorrow, won't be available. We'll assess him, see how his knee is, whatever it was. Boom, that's fine. Dailies have got like, away they go. The Sunday guys sit down, myself, Dougie Bailey, Kenny McDonald, people that will sit down, and we'll say, right guys, here's your line. As you heard there, David Robertson's out for tomorrow. He's already been for his scan and he is out for 6 weeks. So there's your line for Sunday. David Robertson's out for, and you think, you know what, brilliant, very simple, but brilliant. And that's how people say, oh, Walter get an easy ride, something. No, he was just a good person. If you're a good person, you'll get the benefit of the doubt, and things like that. Another thing I remember, when he became manager of Scotland, again, maybe a Tuesday it was announced, all the dailies are in, they get the stuff from Walter and Tommy Burns, then the Sundays come in again, the usual, and he threw a few people at the room, I forget it, Sundays only, so there was only 6 of us in the room with him. He says, right, here you go, Ali McCoist is going to be one of my assistants, him and Tam Burns, and he'd never worked with Ali before. We thought, well, what? But Ali did a column at the Daily Record at the time. He says, I've cleared it, a word of this will not get out anywhere. There's your line for Sunday, that will hold for 5 days. Count on me, nobody will write this or mention it. There's your story, and it held, and we got our story. So for there, and on a personal level, he was brilliant. His wife Ethel's 2 boys, Neil and Stevie, and when he was Scotland manager, spent a huge amount of time with him in 2006 at the World Cup finals in Germany. He was over there like scouting, and a few good nights out. Chick was there, Chick Young was there, brilliant, you know, Ronnie Scott, Kenny McDonald. He was great company, great stories, always helpful. UEFA Cup final run as well, covered all the games, and he would always give the Sunday guys his time. Then latterly when he retired, and we'd go out for lunch with him, long lunches into,
Did you? Yeah.
into 29, into James's, Mortimer's place, Davy Provan, myself, Chick, Kenny McDonald, and we'd just sit and chew the fat, and just great. And the thing I loved about him as well, and you know, Paul, he had no ego despite all of his success, and despite how good he was at his job. Absolutely no ego whatsoever.
One thing I will say, when he came in after the Paul Le Guen obviously situation that Walter took over, Paul Le Guen left, and I remember the game we were playing, it was Dundee United at Ibrox. I don't know if you remember it, the first game back, and that was my first game back, and he brought me into the office, and I'm telling you, it was 15 seconds. He sat me down, go out, do your job, play your game, and lead the team out. And that was it. And we went and we absolute trounced Dundee United that night. Just simple words.
Yep.
Plain and simple. Just that was the kind of guy he was.
Tell Alexa to launch Go Radio or listen on the Go Radio app.